Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen with details of the 3.3 and 3.3.5 patch split, not to be confused with patch 3.5, updates to the Star Citizen roadmap, and some info about the Hammerhead Gunship. Some of the features of the 3.3 patch coming October 10th have been split off into a separate 3.3.5 patch coming a bit later, planned at the moment around the mid-Q4 mark. So that would be mid-November time, although it could come out sooner or later than that. The features that have been pushed into that 3.3.5 patch are object container streaming, network bind culling, network entity streaming, Hurston, so that's the planet, and its associated landing zone, Lorville, and any new shops and bits there. So that also means Hurston's clothing collection, and Clovis Darneely, who I believe also resides in Lorville. The 4 moons of Hurston, and all those biomes associated with all of that. So the savanna, water, drunk biomes, acidic biomes, all of that new stuff. No fly zones will be added in this patch as well for logistical reasons and to enhance intrigue. Basically, it's object container streaming and its associated features being pushed back to a live build at the mid-November, while the rest of 3.3 will come on October 10th. So, what is now contained in patch 3.3? Well, it's face-over IP and voice-over IP, as well as group system improvements with better chat and party support. This is going to be pretty big. This will allow webcams to register what your face is doing and also allow audio in the game. And they've got like a focusing method as well. So where you're focusing on a target, you can hear them more clearly and things like that. This sort of communication in game is so essential and has been for so long. Weapon system refactors. So they are literally looking through all the weapon systems for FPS and ships and making sure they're balanced correctly. There's improvements to planetary tech with the environmental blending shader, making planets and moons look a bit better. New weapons, including the Karna Assault Rifle, the Hurston Dynamics Dominance and Attrition series of ship weapons as well. FPS AI NPCs, both in missions and in points of interest as well. And this is also going to include FPS-focused missions too. They've improved AI behaviors for ships. Scramble races. So scramble races are a mission type that can occur in space or the ground, which sees the racers battling to reach a series of randomly spawned checkpoints, and each race is designed to bring conflict when they're fighting. Multiple people can ride in the same vehicle and shoot and fight each other. Eliminating competitors will get you points and stuff as well. That's the idea of them. It's weapons free. Ship system degradation. So this is functionality for upgradable ship components, as well as implementing wear and tear and degradation, causing reduced performance and potential misfires when you're using items. Delivery lockers and pickup mission improvements as well. So we'll be able to walk over to these delivery lockers and deliver a box there or take a box out of there for missions rather than having to deal with NPCs that have been buggy in the past. It just saves sort of like time on that gameplay loop. Asteroid mining and mining improvements in general as well. So we'll be able to mine in space, but they've also tweaked a lot of the mining stuff. Improved transit systems. Expect good things when it comes to elevators, airlocks, and doors. Obviously, we've had issues with them before. Shipboard ping and scanning. So this is extending shipboard pinging and scanning to much larger distances. They're going to be able to differentiate ping behavior per signature type and expand information received from scanning vehicles. Arena Commander and Star Marine rec rentals from inside game is another feature, so we'll be able to rent out ships straight from in-game using rec, weapons and FPS gear, all in those modes. There's going to be improvements to turrets, both manned and remote, which we've needed for multi-crew for ages. Item kiosk shopping improvements, and ships-wise, we're going to be getting the Hammerhead Gunship, Constellation Phoenix, Cyclone variants, Mustang, and their variants reworks. They're all going to be flyable or drivable, based on whether they're a vehicle or a ship. There are some missing in action features, or at least one that I can think of. There is no word at the moment on ship rentals in the Persistent universe after this split. So there wasn't a word before it, other than what was said in the monthly report. So in August's monthly report, they said in reference to environmental art, the team has now completed the art for a host of smaller locations for Lorville, including the new habitation modules, lobbies, and interiors for Lorville's bar, admin office, and shops. The first iteration of a security checkpoint and a transit platform, complete with train car, have also been finished. As well as this, they are almost complete on the TISA spaceport. So The TESA is spelled TEASA, with its new shop archetype, the Ship Rental Store. So they've also added a general transaction service to manage rental and store purchases, as well as currency service transactions for mission and service beacon contracts. So all of this more than suggests that that spaceport that is probably part of Lorville's landing zone was going to have a ship rental store that was going to allow us to rent ships in-game with Alpha UEC, and that was probably going to be in 3.3. I do think obtaining ships in-game with in-game currency in the persistent universe is critical for my enjoyment of that game's shorter term. It gives me progression, it gives me reasons to play. I would, however, expect this now in the 3.3.5 update, so bear that in mind. Although in regard to that, the roadmap says mid-Q4 2018 for 0.5, so 3.3.5, but more realistically, this is going to be whenever it's ready, and could be a couple of weeks or months after CitizenCon. They did say that the 3.3.5 patch is planned to be the patch right after 3.3, so there's unlikely to be a 3.3.1 patch unless there's something like major hotfix-wise they need to do. Obviously, this delay is disappointing, but the good thing that might come out for this delay is better integration of object container streaming than we would have had if they put it in the game now. Potentially more features might get slipped into the 0.5 patch, and in general, the patch may be more refined with bug fixes and optimizations as well that they'll be able to put in. Evocati tests. So the Evocati phase has yet to start for 3.3 at time of recording anyway. I'm suspecting there is a few more teething issues with object container streaming they want to fix before handing it off to the ETF, the Evocati test flight. I believe as well that even though they're splitting off object container streaming into another live build, that with the ETF build of 3.3, there's going to be two builds, one that has object container streaming and one without, which is how they're going to dial it in and how they're going to get it ready for that 3.3.5 release. That could also mean that initial release does get a build with Hurston in, and that could also mean that the PTU build that goes out to First Wave and beyond may also have that object container streaming option as it gets rolled out to more and more testers. And I'm hoping that that's the case, and I'm hoping they also run that environment constantly from 3.3 going to Evocati. So hopefully we'll see a parallel PTU build of the game all the way up until at least 3.3.5's release. But there's a lot of buts and maybes there, so bear that in mind. So object container streaming, maybe not as far away as we thought, even with the delay. We may still be able to actually play with it, even if you're not an Evocati member in the future, with the concession of mega bugs. Maybe that's going to be the thing. Like 3.3 may be a pretty stable build when it's live, but the PTU builds are probably going to be pretty buggy with object container streaming until it's fully dialed in anyway. There was some bits on the Hammerhead in Reverse the Verse. So the Hammerhead is a patrol ship, defensive gunboat for anti-fighter and anti-missile, sort of like anti-torpedo support. It's got a lot of gun turrets that can be brought to bear on targets, and it's pretty strong. The original idea of the ship was to be a retaliator, but with more turrets instead of torpedoes. The ship has become much bigger from that original idea, and for me, it's sort of like a turreted corvette. It's got 6 turrets with 4 Rhino laser repeaters, which are all size 4 on each of them, so that's 24 size 4 weapons in total. You can obviously swap those out for whatever you want in the future. They added a second top deck with kitchen that wasn't there before. This was fitted into the current size of the ship using unused space that was there. They've also got 8 escape pods there. The ship uses a load of modular pieces and the pipeline for the Idris and Javelin. Some rooms are just tweaked a bit from the sort of like Aegis manufacturer sort of standard one, so beds, corridors, captain's room, they're all taken and then slightly edited. The rest of the ship is more bespoke to the Hammerhead. The landed size of the ship is the same. That hasn't increased from what it says on the website. I think it's 115 meters long. They're going to have ways of sharing targets between the turrets and the pilot in the future. So turrets will be able to see what other turrets are targeting. The pilot and potentially co-pilot will be able to mark targets and see where that turret's at aiming in some way, so like over the HUD or something. The ship is similar to the Starfarer in speed, a little faster and agile maybe. Every angle around the ship is sort of like covered by at least 4 turrets, even if their ships are in odd locations. All turrets can be active and fighting at once without too much power drain. They will tweak its default loadout if necessary, or if there are some sort of power problems in the future. You're going to be able to overpower and overclock these weapons as well. Turrets and missiles will be targetable by all weapons and ships. So literally shooting those missiles and torps down with conventional weapons as they come towards you. However, the Hammerhead may be rather more effective at shooting those sort of targets down because of the sheer amount of guns it can bring to bear at pointing at things, and because it can cover all of the angles. Very good at defending larger capital ships as well from those torpedoes. The ship might potentially be more effective at ramming as well. They are looking into the mechanics of ramming and that sort of stuff too. They are reinforcing the front, so if they do that sort of mechanic, or I suppose people will ram it anyway, won't they, at some point, that it will be able to take a good ramming. The Ursa rover should fit in through the ramp as well on the ship, and it should be able to be stored on the ship. There's 40 SCU of cargo, and if you did have a rover in, then it would take up pretty much all of that space. Maybe a smaller vehicle might be more sensible. Today's video is brought to you by F-Secure Total, premium cybersecurity for you and your devices. It includes safe and award-winning internet security suite, protecting you from ransomware, viruses, and while browsing the web. Freedom VPN, giving you net privacy, a way to access otherwise inaccessible content, while being secure and anonymous even on public Wi-Fi. Key, a password manager, allowing you to store your passwords securely and access them from any device. Total protects you and your device. You can try F-Secure Total, Internet Security and Privacy Suite free for 30 days. You can also use the code BoredGamer to get 20% off a subscription. Check out the links below for more information. Every month we have a ship giveaway. This time for September, it's a Sabre Raven, a game package, and a CitizenCon digital goodies pack. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my videos during the month. Thanks for watching, guys. I look forward to your comments. Take care, and I'll see you in the verse.